Basketball Talk Pro. Well, I got one of the coaches called in and asked me a question about what we have shown you for 4 years now, that a field goal percentage determines to a certain extent the winning of the game, but it's a fairly definite percent of the time. And what we have learned is that if the team with the highest field goal percentage, the normal one, not the one, the extended or effective one, but the normal field goal percentage wins the game around 80% of the time. And he had heard or read from another source that field goal percentage only affected winning 40% of the time. So I want to bring something to you. I work from facts, and I want to show you the facts. Facts are, in this case, is so there's no way you can cheat or change them. So I've got some charts I want to show you. These are real charts that we did. We'll show you the very charts that we used to determine this particular thing that we learned, that field goal percentage is the most important factor in winning and losing games. So we'll quickly now go to those charts to take a look at that. Well, here's the chart, and I want to show you the chart that we used to get the information. This is purely facts. All of this information comes off of the box scores, NBA box scores. So there's nothing we could do to taint it towards what we believe in. Actually, what we believe in, our belief system in this case, was made from this kind of information. Over a number of years in college and then in the NBA. There was no getting around of the truth. This is the truth that we see. This is the chart we use to put it all together. This is a combined percentage. This is just the normal percentage that is always used. For example, the NBA only uses it this way. They don't make any preference for three-point shooting. And that is the correct way, in my opinion, because it counts the misses in a game very evenly, so that you're getting, I think, the true percentage. This effective percentage is really kind of an illusion. If this happened, if that happened, and so I don't think it changes. But I have done a chart like this with the three-point shots in there. Three-point shooting did not affect winning or losing that much, not near what the combined did. But we are going to start another study that looks into that the same way we did some years ago. Well, let's get to this. This is a combination percentage. What we're trying to prove here is our premise. Is it true that the team with the best field goal percentage wins around 80% of the time? So let's look at how we did it. This was the winning team. It had a percentage of 42%. The losing team had a percentage of 41%. So in that case, it worked out. The only difference was 1% between the two teams. And the points per attempt value, the winning team had a 0.92 value. In other words, they scored 0.92 points for every field goal attempt, threes or twos. The losing team had only a 0.91. Again, a difference of 0.01. It doesn't always work like that, but this game it did. The rebound number, because everybody thinks rebounding is the key to the game. The winning team here had 46 rebounds, and the losing team had 42, a difference of 4. So again, the rebounding number, if you win the rebounding battle, you win the game. That is not going to prove true as we go through the 77 games. Turnovers, the winning team had 12, the losing team 14. So that would show, well, the winning team had less turnovers. Free throws in this game made no difference. 18, both teams had 18 free throws. Here is a difference. POP, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this, POPs are the defensive rebounds and the steals combined, because those two uh, uh, entities give us possession of the ball in the best possible position to score, and have the most uncontested shots. In the case of this game, the combination of defensive rebounds and steals had this, the winning team had 41, the losing team had 48. So it pretty much turned out. But as we go down here, for example, here's a real odd case. Game number 3, the winning team had a 49% field goal percentage, usually good enough to win. But the losing team had a higher percentage, 58%, a dramatic difference. And we go over to this points per attempt, another dramatic difference, 1.05 to 1.19. The losing team was better in both of those. Here, the losing team had 39 rebounds, and to the winning team's 33. So again, the losing team had a better number. Here's the difference. The winning team only had 9 turnovers, and the losing team had 20. And this is what I have said many times when we talk about these things. The only time that turnovers, rebounds, make any difference in winning or losing is when there is a dramatic difference, like this one. Now, the losing team had 20 turnovers. So even though they were shooting a good percentage, they weren't getting as many offensive cracks at the basket. They turned it over before they could even take a shot. Now, in this case, they also had less free throws made. But back to this, the POPs, the losing team had more positive possessions than the winning team. So there are times when it reverses. We know that. But when we go through the 77 games that we're talking about here, and I want to bring this down to the bottom so we can see that, this combines all the games. Now, the shooting percentage for the winning team over 77 NBA playoff games was 46%. The percentage for the losing team average was 42%. Now, that doesn't, that's their averages. But here's the 61 of the 77 games. It proved out that the team that won had the highest percentage, 79% of the time. That proved out. So what we're saying is 79% of the time, if you have the highest field goal percentage, you win the game. And only 21% does the team with the poorest field goal percentage win the game. But we'll go through the rest of them. Points per attempt in this particular year made a major difference, was substantially better than the normal way of doing the percentage. But their value was 1.02, the winning team. The losing teams had 0.92. That's a very substantial difference, by the way. But in this case, 83% of the time that they had the highest value, they won the game. Over here, 60% of the time that the rebounds were the winning team had a better rebounding average than the losing team. Not not very meaningful at all. Turnovers, only 58% did it have any effect on winning or losing, and free throws made 64%. Here, positive possessions made had a 77% winning average. In other words, here you can see it 59 times out of the 77, it proved out that the team with the highest combination of defensive rebounds and steals won. That is because those are the two best possessions, and it's the two best possessions because you get the highest percentage of uncontested shots in those possessions. So this is where what we're trying to show you, and it worked out. Now I'm going to go to another chart and show you over 300 NBA games. And you can and we'll see how those it works out over that number of games. That's an awful lot of games to prove a point. It was certainly ample. So let's go to that next chart. Well, here's the total for all of those games that we did. We did 337 games. And again, all this information came off an NBA box score. Probably about as accurate as you could get. After all of those games, and I'm not going to go through all the other explanation I did on the other chart, the red numbers give you the totals that you want to have. 272 games. This is the number of times at the 272 games that were won, and 65 that the losing team won. That's a total of 81%. So over those 337 games, 81% of the time, the team with the best field goal percentage won. In this, the value area, points per attempt, 80%, very close. Rebound total, only 66% of the time did the team with the best rebounding, the highest rebounding number win. Turnovers, only 64% of the time that the team with the fewest turnovers won, and 66% when the team with the most free throws made won. Again, back to our POP, the positive possessions, defensive rebounds, and steals. The team with the best of those two won 78% of the time. So these are facts. You can't change them. I don't see what more we could do to prove that these points. Now, as I said before, we will redo all of this and increase 3-point shooting because of the way the game is changing, or attempting to change. I don't think it's changed a lot personally. And when I did that thing on 3 points last spring, it proved out that there wasn't much the impetus of getting more 3-point shots had literally no effect on winning and losing. But I want to get up to date, so we keeping up with the trends. But right now, there is nothing to dispute what we're saying. 81% of the time, the team with the best field goal percentage wins the game. Facts prove it.